You believe discipline is supposed to hurt, that if it does not burn, it does not count. You wear this belief like armor. Heavy. Familiar. It tells you who you are. A person who endures. A person who pushes. But quietly something feels wrong. The pain never ends. It only asks for more. And still you do not feel solid. Only tired. This is where the lie lives. Not outside you but inside your identity. The idea that suffering proves strength. The idea that exhaustion means progress. For a moment let that idea loosen. Just enough to feel the cold beneath it. You have learned to measure yourself by how much you can endure. Pain has become your evidence. If it hurts, you believe it matters. If it drains you, you trust it more. Over time, suffering stopped being a side effect. It became the goal. Quietly, without noticing, you began to rely on it to feel legitimate. Rest feels suspicious. Ease feels undeserved. Without strain, you wonder who you are. This is not discipline. It is self-verification through hardship. A way to reassure yourself that you are not weak. That you are still worthy. And yet, the more you suffer, the less certain you feel. Look closely at what drives you. Not the effort you show, but the urgency beneath it. There is a quiet fear there. If you stop pushing, something will surface. If you slow down, you might face an emptiness you cannot control. So you stay busy. You stay tense. Effort becomes noise that keeps silence away. What you call discipline may be avoidance. Not of failure but of stillness. Stillness would ask questions you have delayed for years. This fear does not shout. It whispers. And it keeps you moving even when there is nowhere to go. There was a time when discipline was not loud. It was not aggressive. It did not demand constant effort. In old temples and quiet dojos, monks moved without urgency. Samurai trained without anger. Their discipline did not rise and fall with emotion. They did not force themselves forward. They arranged their lives so movement was natural. So action did not require persuasion. When a monk stopped forcing himself, nothing collapsed. The noise simply faded. What remained was colder, clearer. This is where Zen begins. Not with effort but with the absence of struggle. Zen does not ask you to push harder. It asks you to stop interfering. Mushin is not effort. It is what remains when effort is removed. When thought no longer argues with action. The body stands correctly. Shizai is quiet alignment. Nothing dramatic. Nothing forced. When posture is right, movement follows without resistance. This is the cold discipline you were never taught. Action without inner noise. Work without self-violence. Most of your exhaustion does not come from what you do. It comes from the friction inside you while doing it. The constant negotiation. The emotional weight you carry into every action. Zen strips that away. Not by motivation but by removing excess. When the mind stops clenching, effort becomes lighter. Sometimes it disappears entirely. This is why it feels uncomfortable. You realize how much pain was unnecessary. How much struggle you added to feel in control. Zen does not reward suffering. It ignores it. It only keeps what works. And in that cold simplicity, discipline finally becomes quiet. There is a figure who moved through conflict without inner noise. Musashi did not fight himself before facing an enemy. His discipline was already settled. He did not wake up to convince himself to act. There was no debate. No emotional ceremony before movement. What looks like intensity from the outside was calm inevitability inside. The sword moved because the body was ready. The body was ready because nothing resisted it. This is the absence of struggle. Not weakness. Not passivity. But alignment so complete that effort becomes invisible. When there is no internal argument, action feels cold. Almost impersonal. And strangely stable. Musashi did not rely on motivation. He relied on order. Once order is set, behavior follows without force. This is the discipline that does not exhaust you. because nothing inside you is fighting back. There is a moment when something releases. Not loudly. Not with relief or celebration. You notice that effort fails when it becomes emotional. When discipline turns personal, it grows heavy. When it becomes dramatic, it collapses. The shift is subtle. You stop trying to be disciplined. You stop narrating your actions to yourself. What replaces it is not motivation. It is clarity. The quiet sense that things are simply in their place. Order does not require willpower. It does not need encouragement. It exists whether you feel ready or not. In this moment, effort falls away. Not because you became stronger, but because you stopped making discipline about you. Discipline begins to live outside of you. It no longer rides on desire or willpower. It flows from structure, habit, and environment. The way of the monk is revealed here. Every movement, every action arises naturally from the order around it. Not from struggle, not from effortful choice. Calm replaces tension. Consistency replaces drama. The rhythm of life itself carries action forward. You realize that control is not personal. It is impersonal. It is built into your posture, your timing, your surroundings. This is where the work truly begins. Not by pushing harder, but by arranging yourself so that discipline exists without negotiation. Time becomes the teacher. Discipline is no longer a spark, but a season. Long winters of repetition, quiet days of practice, months and years of consistency. There are no sudden victories here. No moments of triumph. Only the slow shaping of identity. The work is invisible, measured not by excitement, but by endurance. Not by the peaks, but by the unbroken ground beneath your feet. Stability grows. Subtle, unshakable. The kind of strength that cannot be tested in a single battle, but survives all the battles you will face. This is the long winter of mastery. Patient, cold, and inevitable. At last, the noise fades. Discipline no longer announces itself. It does not need attention or approval. The body moves. The mind observes. The world continues and you continue within it. There is no triumph here. Only certainty. Quiet. Cold. Complete. And in that silence, you meet the truth you always knew. Discipline is never about struggle. It is about alignment.